right. So, all right. Hey, folks. Hal has asked me to talk about um, geology in the Forest Service, basically, and about landslides. So basically, I broke up my little presentation this morning into two parts. Basically, I'm going to talk about a geologist in the Forest Service, and then I'm going to talk about the post-wildfire landslide effects. So without further ado, basically I've been a geologist here in the Central Oregon area for the Forest Service for about since about 2008, so coming on 13 years, I guess now. So it's been a great job. I started my career in the private sector working for engineering geologists and geotechnical engineers. Spent a lot of time on drill rigs and such, looking at landslides and just foundation type work. For a geologist for the Forest Service, it's basically a professional position that just requires an undergraduate degree in geology. I got my degree, basically I went to 2 years of community college and then finished up with a 4-year degree at a university. You know, the nice thing is that for the Forest Service, you don't need the graduate degree per se, and I never actually received one. That is that for some of us that don't stay in school, for instance, this is a great way to still be a geologist. And however, if you want to work in the geology in kind of the USGS or in a research mode, even for the Forest Service, as a geomorphologist or a hydrogeologist, an advanced degree, a master's or a PhD is required for that position. Another aspect of the job in geology for the Forest Service is engineering, is as an engineering geologist, which is what I basically picked up while I was working in the private sector. So what does a geologist do for the Forest Service? So basically, geology in the Forest Service is broken up into two different parts, basically minerals and geology. So the minerals part is basically broken into mining, all sorts of levels of mining. So remember, this is Forest Service is a land management agency. And so as a geologist, we're land managers looking at the different ways that people can use. And so the locatable mining is looking for gold, silver, you know, any kind of precious ore. And it's really based out of the 1872 mining law. Then we have a second aspect, which is saleable rock. Basically, that's your quarries, your pits. You can think of those as the cinder pits. You can think of those as hard rock pits. And those are used usually to get common variety rock out for building materials. And, you know, so to build highways, to build bridges, to, you know, stuff like that. And then we have a third, mineral, which we consider leasables, and that's the oil, gas, geothermal type of energy related. And so it's just a different way of, and basically that's just a different way we manage those energy minerals in the BLM and the Forest Service. And so part two is of minerals and geology is the geology section. And that's broken up into basically two different parts, basically hazards and resources. So hazards fall into landslides, which we're going to talk about a little bit more, rockfall, earthquakes, volcanoes, and geologic resources, which fall more into, things we want to save and protect, we want to manage. For instance, caves, paleontology, fossils, groundwater resources. So we want to, and then the third instance is engineering. And basically this is engineers, they understand how to do all their calculations, but they need somebody out there with a little bit of, not afraid to get a little dirt between their teeth and, try to figure out what the soil mechanics are so they can calculate the bearing loads and stuff like that. So we help the engineers out for roads, culverts, bridges, and what I like to think of a geologist in the Forest Service is basically a kind of a jack of all geo trades kind of person, and not really a master of any one of these. So it's a kind of a fun job to get a lot of experience in a lot of different geology. I just want to bring into that there are many different ways of getting internships with the Forest Service. I've had a Pathways student internship for. That's actually a great position, and it actually feeds into it can feed into a job with the Forest Service. So basically you have to be a current student or a recent graduate. These jobs are actually posted on usajobs.gov. And you can search through that database as a student or a recent grad. This job does have pay with benefits. It's usually a 2-year position during the summertime. And I believe overall it actually goes towards your retirement, your total years with the Forest Service. So that's a really great way to get into the government or Forest Service. Another way is the Americorps Vets Work program, and I had a Vets Work last year, and this is through the Mount Adams Institute, and they provide a housing stipend, and it's a 10-month-long internship. And basically, in this particular job, you don't have to have any particular experience, but you do need to be a veteran with an honorable discharge. And then lastly is another internship, the GSA, GeoCorps of America. And I've not had a GeoCorps intern yet, but it's a paid short-term geoscience opportunity. I was just looking at the webpage last week, I guess, and I believe those positions closed as of February 3rd. And Americorps also takes their internships like in December, early January too. So those are kind of closed, but the Pathways is kind of always open. You just got to find the job. So enough of all that. I'm going to move on to part 2 of my presentation. Is
Bart,
basically yeah.
Could I pause you for just a moment there?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Anybody got questions, follow-up questions there about career opportunities in geology for Bart?
It's about that the internship program for Pathways. You said it's a good way to get in. When you're in this internship, is it great, like a pathway to becoming a GS?
Yes, actually, the Pathways program, you actually come in, you actually are on the a GS or a general schedule. That's our pay, the way we do our pay grades. But yeah, you actually become a GS. Oh, I don't remember how you come in. I think it's a GS4. And then you actually, in a way, you start your career track right then while you're in school or just after you recently graduated.
Thanks.